Om Shanti, welcome all of you. And before we begin, we'll just spend a minute in silence and invoke the Supreme Being. So, welcome all of you to the Values for Life series, episode 31st on obedience. A beautiful date indeed today, 22nd Jan 22. A lot of tutus around, and it's the sacred month of January, as all of us really like to do a lot of effort in this month as spiritual seekers on this path. So we chose this value of obedience purposefully because I think it has a lot of significance, this virtue, in the spiritual path. Being obedient towards seniors, towards teachers, we all know those virtues towards teachers and towards our seniors or adults at home. But even to our guru or even our spiritual hero, whom we say, being obedient to that is another virtue which we should be developing. And I'm sure Santosh Didi will do a great job with that. So with this, I'll just stop sharing the screen, and before I go on with the introduction of Santosh Didi, I would just request Sister Claudia from Vancouver to welcome Didi with the flowers.
Om Shanti, good morning from Vancouver, good evening for everyone, good afternoon for some of you. So welcome to, I like to welcome you with some flowers that represents Canada flight. So red and white is our flag. So I like to welcome you in the name of everyone who are here today. Of course, we really need to have to listen to you about obedience, because I think in life, not only spiritual life,
Just
but
1 minute, Andre. Yeah, carry on. Yeah, please.
Yeah. So any part of our life, we need to be obedient. So we are looking forward to hear that from you.
Thank you, Sister Claudia, indeed. So, all of you are aware Santosh Didi has been with us a couple of times in the past. She is basically serving the region of Russia. She's the cultural and educational non-governmental organization of St. Petersburg, what we call as Brahma Kumaris Center. She's the director over there. And also she's the joint regional director of the Brahma Kumaris services happening in not only Russia but also the Baltic region and the CIS, that is the Commonwealth of Independent States in that region of Asia. You would be very intrigued to hear about Didi, that she's born in Delhi, and at a very young age she was inspired towards spirituality. Nevertheless, she graduated from the University of Delhi and had a BSc honors in zoology. All of us remember her sharings about the frog experiment. I still remember on knowledge she had shared about that. And it was very unique that the Brahma Kumaris was invited by the Russian Academy of Sciences in 1989. And Santosh Didi was appointed as one of the pioneers to start services there. A few lines for Didi. As usual, Didi is an embodiment of peace and royalty, and because for the Almighty she's got this immense sense of loyalty. She exudes from her the vibrations of purity, and which give all of us indeed the glimpse of our own reality. And today we are taking up this topic on obedience, so a few lines on obedience. Obedience is such a precious and worthy attribute which makes all of us feel that even we can contribute.
Mhm.
Happiness, peace, and love, which we can then distribute, which will make us play the song of life like a flute. The worldly noise then automatically becomes mute, and there then remains no chance of any dispute. My face then becomes very cheerful and cute, and I start experiencing the flying stage as if I'm in a parachute.
Yeah.
And finally, people then want to hear me and they say, please unmute. And life carries on smoothly as if I have pressed the button of reboot. So, with these few lines on obedience, I would just also share the screen again and share with you a few housekeeping instructions, as I've been advised to do always. We have 7 translations this time, and you can always click on the interpretation icon and listen to the language which you are in. As usual, the talk will go on till say around 9:30 India time, and your questions can start coming into me 5 to 10 minutes prior that. And with this, I think I'll just stop sharing the screen. Over to Santosh Didi. Thank you so much once again.
Okay. So happy to see you all again. This is your good morning, and here it is good evening. No matter morning or evening, it's good and good when we are together for sharing, talking, listening, spiritual matters, right? And the moment you finished your poetry about obedience, I understood lecture is over. In these few lines, everything is said. So who has done this wonder? So that writer has to be really appreciated. So it's good to be part of a series of meeting dedicated especially to virtues. We have learned from different writings, especially there are few scriptures which mention that virtues are a decoration of the personality. Without that, personality is just boring, empty. But virtues are decoration of the personality, and that a person having virtues is valuable like a diamond. While in the absence of virtues, he is sometimes as ordinary or valueless as a stone. So it is the virtues that make us sentient entities or human souls different from machines. Therefore, practically, we cannot even afford to act without virtues. Otherwise, those actions will turn into simple mechanical movements. So now in the context of obedience, we cannot connect this virtue to, let us say, with the machines, yes? The words that can be a coffee machine that gives you the exact amount of a particular type of coffee that you have chosen. We do not say that the coffee machine is obedient. We say that the machine works rightly, is functioning rightly automatically. However, the expression we use for describing a virtuous stage will not be automatically. Rather, it will be naturally. This one is naturally obedient. So this is what is a virtue. The bearer of which are conscient beings, souls. So while talking about virtues, as if we automatically, naturally turn to our original truth. And machines, moreover, do not experience those things. So they cannot experience the happiness of being obedient or being divine, being virtuous. So they cannot express also the same things. After you have baked a loaf of bread in a bread making machine, it will not be said that it was a good teamwork of all the parts of the machine, and let's applaud to them. Bread machine don't throw a party after the work is successfully completed, but we generally do. So we are not this physically visible machine made of 5 elements, because this body does not know the beauty of the virtues. It's I know the beauty of virtue. So that's a wonderful thing about the conversation, the series which you have started. And that is why it is important to learn more about the practical inculcation of every virtue in full depth. And today's unique virtue, as we have already mentioned, is obedience. Why do I say that it is unique? Its uniqueness lies in the fact that obedience is a natural asset. But in addition to that is a neutral asset. It's part of a human soul to be obedient, because otherwise, when the soul is the light, the energy, spiritual energy is in the mother's womb, in the absence of this obedience, every body coming out from the womb will be different. Oh no, I don't want both arms should be left and right. I want one arm here and one behind. This does not happen even from the very beginning of the life in the body. This is a natural asset, but at the same time, neutral asset. That means the results of being obedient are dependent upon how and where it is used. For example, you take a knife and cut an apple for sharing with other people and bring happiness to them. Or you can use the same knife to threaten others. The knife here is seen as neutral. So the decision of how to use the knife, whether for something good or not so good, is taken by its user. So that is why I said that obedience is also like a neutral asset. So let's take a close look at this particular virtue. In general, obedience is our response to someone's order or request. For instance, a person who pays taxes accurately on time becomes famous as a person obedient to law, citizen obedient to law. Someone who observes the traffic rules is called obedient driver or pedestrian. Similarly, who comes to his office on time and stays punctual, disciplined throughout his working day, acting according to the norms set there, is also called obedient worker. So we can understand in a better way obedience in three broader categories, depending upon whom we obey. Because by definition, it is simple. You respond to the order or the direction given by authority. But in order to see other dimensions, we have to see three broader categories, depending upon whom we obey. First of all, according to my life experience now, and while being a practitioner of Raj Yoga wisdom, I will put in first category obedience to God, the Almighty, the Supreme Soul. Here we have to know, of course, what God's direction exactly are, to which we have to be obedient, but that's another topic. But still, first remains obedience to Almighty, His commands. And second is obedience to parents, the seniors in our family. And third is obedience to an authority. If you go to workplace, you have someone who is at the top or who is the boss, who is the officer, is appointed as the one to take final decision, and you get a direction, you get an order. So you respond through obedience by obeying that. So an important thing observed in terms of inculcation of virtues by various people is that at most times, these virtues, including obedience, are practiced in gradation. Therefore, sometimes it becomes hard to declare or certify if a particular person has that virtue or not. And the most funny thing is that sometimes a person himself does not understand if he practices that virtue or not. Because he may have that virtue in a very light shade, a very light shade of that virtue. For example, green color comes in dozens of different shades. Consider happiness. There is a person whom you meet and you know through feelings, vibrations, and his body language that, yes, this is a happy person. You don't even think of asking him if he is happy because you see, you feel the vibration, but you meet another person whose vibrations and face do not reflect or radiate that happiness. So you feel like asking him if he is happy. And most of the time you are wonderstruck when their reply reaches your ears. Of course I am. I am. I don't see from anywhere, you see. So I ask, are you happy? And reply is, of course I am. And here you are standing surprised, asking yourself, then what is the accurate inculcation of happiness? Who is who would be called out of these two happy person? That which you saw first number or this one? So this is what I mean by gradation in inculcation of happiness. Both are happy, but number wise. And the same is true with obedience and for any other virtue. Here I am reminded of a nice old saying in Hindi, which is used to describe a situation when someone uses obedience, but not completely. You can't say that he is disobedient, but can you say that he is obedient? So this Hindi proverb describes about this dilemma. That when someone uses obedience, but not completely, or just to a certain degree, or number wise. So the saying goes like that, पंचों की बात सर माथे पर परनाला वहीं बहेगा. That is, I completely obey the commands of the seniors in the village. Panch. In old times, the people were selected or appointed 5 persons. Panch means 5, to decide about different disputes. So person says, saying goes on, that Panchon ki baat sar mathe par, salute to the orders of Panch, but my ditch or drain which is disturbing the neighbor will remain at the same place. Is this obeying? Which number of obedience is this? Which shade of obedience is this? So this question then comes when we see such kind of inculcation of obedience. This is why it is important to discuss virtues to the fullest extent so that we no longer play with them at our own convenience and say, this is how I think, or this is how you think. Then how can we have the universal principle showing us a universal method of becoming virtuous human beings who can be at harmony with each other no matter wherever they go? If we become habitual of using virtues in such gradations at our own convenience. Saying this, I would like to mention that the very first thing this virtue of obedience seems to convey is that one will be said to practice obedience when it is instant and immediate. When you get a direction, when you get an order, instant and immediate response. And when you postpone or delay doing something according to your choice or convenience, then it is something different. If your acceptance of direction comes as, well, I will think about it. I will do it sometime later. What happens if we act like that? This is not obedience. And this is especially true when it comes to following what God tells us to do. Or even when a teacher tells us to do something. Being obedient means obeying at that very moment. Because there has always been observed a certain connection of our response to directions or our actions with time. By doing something, by obeying at the same moment when that was said, that energy being given with that direction of the authority, especially God, makes me to accomplish that in one go. And when moment is changed, I go into contemplating something, analyzing something, rationalizing something, and then I obey after I am sure, oh, I have now obeyed. There is no loss in obeying that. There is a different amount of caliber to be invested to accomplish that simple task then. It has been seen hundreds of times, thousands of times. And the talk of omens has also been always there in terms of human behavior. For example, someone goes for an interview, but he's not selected. And they say that, oh, these days the omens are not good. But how come omens for someone are good and for someone not good? So where these omens are fixed, designed, or sent or showered, there is subtle connection here that when directions are accepted and obeyed, at the very moment when they are passed or given, there are different omens. So this practice of obedience is also very much related to time. That is, it is related to what we achieve as a result of obedience is related to immediate acceptance. And it is in this case only that good wishes and blessings are also earned instantly. It has to be done like this. From tomorrow morning, God says, children, you should get up early so that you can be with your own self before you start using this horse. You are riding on the horse. First, you should put yourself in proper order. And I say, yes, my father. Yes, my dear Baba. Oh, my sweet father. And the moment this yes reaches to him, there is an experience of instant happiness. This comes like a bonus, which is a great support for both mental and physical well-being in our life. And another wonderful aspect that a person might not be having most of other virtues which are in the list of virtues of the soul, spiritual virtues, work virtues, or social virtues, whatever. Maybe this person does not have a lot from this list or any special talents, but if he has obedience, then it is seen that he earns such a huge amount of blessing that he is able to achieve success, move ahead in life, have much better relations with others as compared to even very talented people. Because somehow he has this inner built attitude, or he has cultivated this attitude to say yes. So it is another plus point of this virtue when it is practiced in long term for everything. This lifelong inculcation of obedience attracts abundance in life. So the first aspect is to make sure my response is instant, immediate to obedience. Secondly, obedience is not obedience when practiced with a sad face, with not so happy face. Obedience is practiced happily, not out of compulsion. It is called complete obedience only when I don't complain, blaming my fortune that, oh, I have to do this. Or what should I do? I have to go to this school every day. So obedience done with happiness. But have you observed many people around you who are seen reflecting this kind of obedience? Most of the time, especially younger generation or those having academic degrees, etc., seem to show you that by obeying, they are doing a favor even to their parents or seniors, even if a little task is given to them. So even if they fulfill the task with this attitude, were they obedient? And then we complain. I, as a young child, young student, young worker, or a person with big degrees, had that attitude whole of my life. And now half of my life has passed, and now I complain. Oh, I have been obedient whole my life, but my life is not that successful. Because to cultivate and nurture the fruit of blessings and good wishes as an outcome of our obedience is possible only when we practice it from our heart, not out of compulsion. So now, another aspect. Obedience should be full or complete. As I touched in the beginning also, that we observe the virtues being followed around us in gradation, in shades, number-wise. And seeing the inculcation of virtue, the way of inculcation of virtue number-wise, we think that is fine, that's no. But then truth is not experienced by us. At least we should know what is complete perfection of virtue, and then have the aim to reach to that by making use of the power of love from our Father, who shows us the path of virtuous life, our Supreme Father. So obedience should be complete. It's not that I accept and do some part of direction on order and I don't accept and do another part. For example, my mother is calling me, come home right now. You have been playing so many hours, and I do come, but after 20 minutes. I obeyed, but not completely. This is again a scale of gradation of obedience. I might say that I'm obedient because I have come home, but I didn't obey completely. So again, the fruit of obedience will also not be complete. Perhaps I'm lucky, I will not be punished. But will I get love? Yes, I was not punished that I delayed obeying by 20 minutes. But will I get love? Neither punished nor loved. What is this stage equal to? So this is the role that virtues play in our life. They make it full with experiences during interactions, in relationships, in our family, society, and world. They make our inner world full. These unsaid good wishes, unspoken, unuttered feelings of, yes, this is my good child. Yes, this is my very nice sister. This is my very nice brother. So when you keep getting these, your inner world is full, and the more you are full inside, less you wander, stumble, or stuck outside. So that's what is the beauty of obedience. Also, if we fulfill any responsibility or carry out any task given to us sincerely, which is, of course, a part of obedience for a long period of time without lapses, not that we do sometime and sometimes we don't do, then a visible reward is, which does not come through any other way, only through this long-term obedience, fulfilling your responsibility constantly, we earn trust and right or freedom to act. You won't face at every step one barrier is standing. No, you can't do this, you can't touch this, you can't, because you have shown your commitment, your loyalty, your constant concern by obeying directions and orders, that you have earned a trust. If we are not obedient in that way, then we always remain craving for trust. And sometimes when it is a matter of family, we fight with our parents. Oh, you love and trust this child and me not. Did they discriminate? We start demanding, asking for trust because we have never shown that we obey completely while fulfilling our duties as it is expected from us. This is seen in all parts of life, on a professional and other level also. And the most unfortunate thing is that nowadays, this kind of behavior of not being obedient completely is supported with the concept of being unique, being different, or even intelligent. Or the one who uses, his own head rather than following the set norms or traditions. You see how dangerous this way of thinking is. It's as if we announce that, suddenly we come and announce that this train is unique because it no longer moves on the track. that is no longer obeys the system or the structure. I will be proud if my train runs off the track and moves in another direction. But will this train be able to reach my destination or keep me alive? So sometimes we imagine obedience in this way, that obeying the order equals to being not intelligent or being not progressed personality, like an ancient cave human being, cave person. So due to this mindset, obedience is considered sometimes as commonness or being not attractive or as a demonstration of a weak side of your personality. Only because we have not been adopting it as our way of life for a long time. And so we could not reap the wonderful fruit which it in fact gives. Suppose you practice it only for getting quick results, like you did something, being obedient, and you are expecting that people will immediately start trusting or rewarding you. Oh, I have brought a glass of water for you. Now, will you do me this favor? I was so obedient. I did what you said to me. It never happens like that. There is no quick fix here. You will not get flowers from the seed in one day. One has to be consistently obedient in order to get the flowers and fruits of blessings and good wishes, trust, freedom, power from the seed. It should become one's nature and not a one-time or occasional or seasonal act. And another reason why obedience could not be seen as a welcoming policy for personal life is because people saw that the outcomes of their obedience could be in the form of fraud or cheating or manipulation. It's not that everyone from the very beginning was non-obedient or they had different views on obedience, or no. But different kinds of stories in our life, happening in our life with those whom we are related, even we are in blood relations between parents, sisters, brothers, etc. Certain things gave us that kind of feeling that we started thinking twice before we accept any order, or we started thinking, oh, I can't obey this with closed eyes. And the same is true in relations with teachers, government, authorities, and so on now. So we stopped ultimately considering this virtue as well as other virtues as something practical and beneficial, and we resorted to making obedience for most of the thing a museum specimen, or just matter to be discussed at seminars or in our YouTube conversations. Yes, because of forgetting our real identity of being lights, thinking beings, pure beings, peaceful beings, and by acting in false consciousness, body consciousness, even advices, decisions, directions of authorities acting in body consciousness turn out to be faulty when it comes to bringing benefit at all levels. They don't cross this, or they don't pass this litmus test, because for an order or a direction to be beneficial, it has to be beneficial for all. But which kind of orders or directions we see that from coming from authorities or our parents or teachers, which could be benefit for all? In fact, this is not in the capacity of human beings with false consciousness, with body consciousness, to be able to give directions or give advices, show path which can bring benefit to all. I remember that even before I started practicing Raja Yoga on a regular basis, I still used to visit Mount Abu, the headquarters of Brahma Kumaris. As a school student, I used to go there with my senior teacher from Delhi, Didi, as we used to address her, who was 70 at that time. Dadi means senior sister, and also grandmother like. So once when we were sitting and meditating in our train coach, which at that time used to take 21 hours. Can you imagine how your time will pass? So, of course, this practice of silence, yoga, that was, which was helping us. So we were sitting and meditating in the evening before our dinner. All of a sudden, a person who was sitting, who was not in our group, we are all sitting in silence. Very beautiful song was playing, and that person starts smoking. And the whole compartment within 2 minutes gets filled with this smell. And seeing this, Dadi, our senior sister, said to that person, says, now sitting and saying, please don't smoke inside. And he instantly looks left, right, and replies, where it is written. She's saying, please don't smoke inside the train coach. And his reply was, where it is written. Meaning that he will be obedient provided he finds that line on the wall, like an order from court or government authority. That is considered to be obedient. So he's obedient to the lines written on wall. But living human being is saying something to you. The words of that human being are not considered as something worthy obeying. Paradox. So all of that is happening due to the ignorance about true self, our original nature, and also due to the ignorance about our eternal relationship with the Supreme Father, who is the supreme authority, had he knew he is not a man or not a different person, but he is a soul. This woman who is saying to stop smoking is also a soul. These all members sitting are also soul. And we all souls are children of one Father. Could he disobey? Or could he behave the way as he did? Looking here and there and asking where it is written, no smoking. So we have forgotten the self and forgotten the Father. So it has become very difficult for us to establish a society which is like unlimited home. That is where there are no limits of exercising these virtues, in implementing these virtues. Wherever we go, we demonstrate them. Whole country becomes like our family. Whole city becomes our family. Whole world becomes our family, because all human beings are spiritual beings in this body. So once we realize that we are all sentient beings, souls who play their roles, then we also realize that if we stop being obedient to certain norms of the family, workplace, or country where we live, then there will be chaos. Here it is important to add that, yes, queries or questioning intelligence to some degree leads us to material progress. I just don't obey like that. If my teacher has said in the class, this. If I don't understand, I ask because I want to learn. So that is questioning intelligence. Of course, for material progress, that is important. For example, when Newton observed how an apple falls from tree, he had a question. Why down? Because he knew that apple was not given direction or order by anyone, which the apple was obeying. At least this much he knew. So without any order, this is again and again coming down. What is the reason? So why not upward? And this query ultimately opened vast discovery of vast interdependence of an object and the gravitational force. However, in terms of spiritual progress, where it is a realm of the metaphysical, invisible, intangible, unapproachable through the physical senses, entity, these things can be best realized through surrender. And here surrender is not to be perceived as giving up. Okay, I don't use my intellect. If it is a true surrender, it is not giving up, rather it is going up. So I would say here that there's a great benefit in the very act of obeying God, obeying his Shri Mat. Shri means most elevated, Mat means advice, direction. That his supreme direction, which he gives only once in this world drama, world cycle, at the confluence of the night and the dawn. Now, so this act of obedience is nothing but a transference of responsibility. He says, you were pure and you have to be pure now. And reject anything which again underlines or deepen your feelings and emotions of impurity. Now reject them and be pure again. This is his foremost supreme direction. And I say, oh, well, we are Eastern, we are Western, we are Northern, we are Southern. In North, there is only snow and snow. Here we get only fishes and animals. How there are no vegetables at all. We start, rationalizing. The highest direction given was meant to liberate us from all the troubles which humanity is facing, but for the supreme direction, in order to obey this, we stand like, the people who not just are questioning the direction, but are even questioning the Master, the Almighty. He does not mind if you ask from him 100 questions, how I will have health and muscles if I will be vegetarian. He will reply to you. He has patience. But don't doubt, Master. Don't doubt Almighty when he says that don't eat anyone. Eat something, but don't eat anyone. He's saving me from catastrophes. So once I accept this and obey, then responsibility is his. And an experience accompanying this act of obeying is that of freedom and lightness. Previously, I used to be eating whatever I wish. This one is on my table. This one is on my table. This one is on my table. And still I have many troubles in my life. There's blood pressure, there's heart attack, this and that. So I was not light, I was not free, I was in bondages. But now I obey his direction, be pure, eat pure, see pure, listen pure. So it's not like carrying a burden of responsibility of life any longer. Burden is on him. I do this like an instrument. It never means that when you obey because you have no other options or that you lack your own understanding. And so you obey. But it means complying with the instructions of those in authority. Because otherwise nothing will move forward in the chaos created through what is expressed in an old saying, Hindi proverb again. I don't want to obey when I am in home. I don't want to obey mother when I am in home. I don't want to obey my officer when I am at work. Then how the structure of the society, what work is to be done by whom, in which time, who is who, how that will stay stable. So Hindi proverb says, "मैं भी रानी, तू भी रानी, कौन भरेगा घर का पानी." I am a queen, you are a queen, you also are a queen. The child no more thinks I am a child. Child wants parents to be like friends, not giving any direction. So child is also king, father is also king. Then who will fill the pot with water in our house? That's who is the senior then, who is the authority? Or we are conveying the message that we don't like authority. We will protest authority. Of course, this offensive response is the result of a long time, centuries long going on exploitation. But it does not mean that we have to defy or to reject the universal structure of the existence, where there is always head, hands. The smallest sample of the universal structure is this body. There is an authority from where instruction goes, and all organs follow. So if we take away this obedience from our work structure or family structure, there will always be a dilemma of who is who and who should do what. So inculcation of obedience is like inculcation of calcium for making the structure of our systems strong. So in fact, obedience, when thoroughly understood and when its significance is realized, is seen as the greatest moral asset, which will continue to bring huge dividends in the form of good wishes, good wills, blessings, and trust from everyone with whom you interact. So what else to say? So only heart says that keep the aim to imbibe this to that degree that you become a source of inspiration and your life shows the fruit of obedience, so that others can understand, yes, if you do this, you can get this and that. Okay, so I see that time has run 5 minutes ahead.
That's okay, Didi. Thank you so much. It was just very beautiful and deep sharings, which we never thought about obedience in the past.
Can you increase sound, Andre, from there? Can you increase sound? Yeah.
Okay. So, a couple of questions. A sister is asking, I want to obey God's message to wake up early at 4 a.m. and meditate, but I am unable to do so due to lots of dreams and low quality sleep, though I sleep early. So the question is, how can I completely obey God's message and put a full stop to these waste thoughts and get sound sleep so that I can get up early in the morning for Amrit Vela? Yeah.
Yes, I expected such kind of question, definitely, because our conversation was quite general And when comes the question of obeying particular instructions, particular advices, then there goes the manual, instruction manual. So Murli, which we say as instruction manual for inculcation of all virtues, becoming all virtues perfect, words of God. So has explained us that Amrit Vela, morning time, early morning time, is the result of what you do throughout the day. So therefore, what I have to monitor or see is, are my actions, decisions, interactions throughout the day, how I spend my time. If my time is being utilized in the way that I myself is happy as a result, and others also are contented around me, then there is no obstacle for my good sleep. Maybe many of us live alone also, and this is quite lucky if you are practicing Raj Yoga. So then you don't have much disturbance from other people, you are alone. But then by being on our own is not going to help. One should be doing everything with that one, and this happiness of his company will keep me light, will keep me free from worrying. So any kind of expectation and desire also does not allow us to become detached from this body. Sleep means you are detached for 4 hours, for 5 hours. So maybe you could lie down comfortably, but inside your mind, thoughts are coming, which you say as dreams, because there are some unfulfilled, there can be some unfulfilled desires, expectations hanging from this one, from this one. So there I have to check. There is no need to worry a lot, because worrying will not allow me to follow thoroughly. This is a process. We reach to this. In order to correct my early morning time meditation, I have to make and see whether my food habits are to be corrected, whether I might be spending good enough time on the screen, mobile, habit of interaction with the people, unnecessarily talking and stories. I have to see at that level. So when I correct all these aspects of our life, and then you start getting up naturally, because you are able to put full stop to everything in the evening. You had transactions, you had interactions, done, full stop, and you are ready to meet early morning to your beloved Godfather. So have the aim, definitely. It is good that you feel it should be changed, and it can happen.
Right. Thank you, Didi. Another interesting question is, I think an IAS officer is asking, for people who don't know, IAS is Indian Administrative Services. So the officer is asking that I'm working under a minister, and he's asking me to carry out a work which is unlawful and unethical and against my conscience. So should I be obedient because he's my senior and follow the order? Otherwise I'll be out of the job.
Many experiments have been done in the world to check when comes the question of inculcation of virtues. It's not for the first time We are talking that centuries have passed when these questions were raised and experiments were done to check that how much and how long a human being can deny the inner voice, the voice of consciousness, kill, and continue to just close eye and obey the authority. So first of all, these are two different things. One is whether I can do something wrong. Absolutely not. You are clear in that. But when that authority in my job is giving me such kind of direction, what we have learned in Brahma Kumaris, and not from human being, but we Brahma Kumaris as students, listening godly versions have understood that any physical authority is playing a role. That one is a soul. And when I practice soul consciousness and I develop this habit of all the time connecting to Supreme Father, Shiv Baba, benefactor Father, while coming in contact with the authority also, and have conversations based on good wishes, respectful feelings, and offer my view. Offer my view not as my view as an intelligent IS officer, but just as a being who is like brother and sister, young brother and sister. So, this humbleness with which you can offer the one who is authority another option or the better way of doing the thing, that would be considered as your job done. Once you did it with your great, full desire from heart and surrendering this thought to Supreme Father, then definitely it bring result. It will bring result. Maybe not so quickly, but in no case revolting authority is the ultimate solution in the world, because by revolting, by being disobedient to authorities, at every step, the world has reached to the level of anarchy. So why an authority is giving wrong direction order is because of body consciousness, because of not recognizing his inner truth. So if I disobey this authority, I want to disobey the order. That is my purpose. But that person does not see it as disobeying the order. He sees it as disobeying him because he's in body consciousness. So how this vicious cycle will stop? You may leave the job, but will that solve the problem? He will find 10 more IAs to get his job done through him, through them. So it is very good that you are there because you understand this should not be done. And any other person who does not understand this or who accepts this because he is given something beneficial for doing this wrong thing as a, so that is why see yourself an angel there to change this through your constant carrying Supreme Father at workplace. Do it as an experiment for 3 months, 1 month, 6 months, depending upon how huge is his fault in his directions. and bring out the result and show to the world that yes, virtues bring reward, virtues inculcation bring reward, and this is here. So you have opportunity, brother.
Thank you, Santosh Didi. A beautiful answer. Virtues is basically is the own reward if we keep using them. And I'll just take in the interest of time only one more last question. It's a parent asking that nowadays in this digital world, you spoke about that the addictions to screens, high screen time, all of us, adults, children. So children don't obey to what we are saying. So how do we deal with them, and what is the easy way to teach children to obey my orders?
Children do not know disobeying. They just flow with the flow of the river of the world. The energy which we have around us, the atmosphere which we have everywhere in schools, in society, in homes, they just simply go with that flow. So they too feel inside that they are not happy, but they can't leave it because atmosphere is like that. So we have to see ourselves. We have to create in our homes the atmosphere of peace, which means our minds are connected with our original self. When we are connected with the original self, we are able to see no material progress in the world, no material attainments in the world can make you a good human being. Good human beings are created only when there is love, there is respect, there is happiness in the relationships. So we ourselves as parents and seniors and grandparents, we ourselves always wanted, oh, our children should become this and this and that. We ourselves purchase them gadgets. We ourselves have put them into the race of material attainments and getting degrees or becoming this or that. So then how come they won't do that? Because we ourselves wanted that. We never said them, be Raja Yogis. They were not born spoiled. They got spoiled. And moreover, they simply do what they see. So no matter they are seeing wrong things outside, so they are stuck with the screen, but at least in our home, all screens should be off. If they see you using screens, they too would have the happiness of doing the same. Why they won't get that happiness? So it's not question of children, my dear. It's what aim we are giving them. We want them to get high marks in arts, in biology, in chemistry, in physics, and whole their education is on the screens. If you really want them to be liberated, take away these aims. Let them be just give one aim, be good human being. Do you have courage to do that? No. You want them to get a job after studying all these things and do this and that. So therefore, it is to be worked out at personal level. In every home, we have to create a special atmosphere free from material race and ultimately surrender ourselves to God and accept his offer to be good human beings, pure human beings at first. And then, of course, he will then take your job and help you.
So thank you, Didi. Interesting answer. So I would now request Dr. Ashok Mehta to do the vote of thanks.
Yeah.
Over to you, Dr. Mehta. Yeah.
Hello, Ji. Good evening. Dr. Ji.
Om Shanti, Santosh Ben.
Om Shanti. Om Shanti.
Such a beautiful exposition of obedience to the Supreme Father. But in the real world that we live, there's always this question what the IAS officer raised, because I think this issue was mainly following the Second World War, when the large number of people were executed by Eichmann. And in the trial, he said that he was only following the order. That was not what it was his personal choice or a personal way of handling the people. So I think but in the current world, I think obeying the orders is a way of life. Even high school children follow the teachers. We all follow certain norms in a normal way. In our own profession in medicine, when we order as a doctor, we write something and the nurse executes it. Even if she knows that maybe that this is slightly erratic, she will still execute the order. And therefore, I think somewhere down the line in the current way of life, probably obedience is always a question whether one should really just be absolutely 100%. In our parlance, in parlance of our spirituality, in our teaching, I think obedience is to the Supreme. So there's no question that whatever he says, we are absolutely mentally accepting and we'll follow it to the absolute last word. I think what you have said is so beautiful. We have really enjoyed. You have answered most of the questions in a way that we should be doing it. Thank you very much for giving your such a beautiful advice to all of us.
So Brother Manoj is not leaving us, no? He's catching. Okay.
Thank
so,
you, Didi. Yeah.
wishing you very good health, Dr. Ashok, because now this is the only thing which is needed everywhere during this pandemic. So, enjoy. Om Shanti.
So with this, Didi, we'll. Oops. Okay. Yeah. So we'll just do a few announcements quickly. Anu sister, over to you. Yeah.
Thank you, Manoj brother. Yeah, very quickly. So moving on, next week we'll have our values workshops on obedience, in which, as usual, we'll have the experiential reflective exercises on obedience and another insightful sharing by our very dear Dr. Kala sister from Peace Village, New York. It's happening on 29th January, Saturday, at usual time, 7:45 p.m. India time, 6:15 West Coast US Canada. That makes it 9:15 East Coast US and Canada. So please note. And our next episode for Values for Life series is on episode 32 on joy. That's in Hindi, Harsh, or Maja in Urdu. But for this spiritual insight on joy, we'll have Rajni Didi. She'll be speaking first time in this series. She's the national coordinator of the Brahma Kumaris of Japan and Philippines. And in order to accommodate that time of Japan and most of the Asian countries, the time is slightly different. Please note this after 2 weeks on 6th of February, Sunday, morning 9 a.m. That makes it 12:30 p.m. for Japan, 2:30 p.m. for Australia. And that also makes for West Coast, US and Canada, 5th of February, Saturday evening, 7:30 p.m. So please note and save your date. And just quickly want to share that we will be starting a series of talks on the spiritual powers we hold within. And we are starting with power to withdraw or detach. It's happening on 13th of February, Sunday morning, 10 a.m. East Coast, US, Canada, that's 7 a.m. West Coast, and 8:30 p.m. India. And we are starting from the far east of Canada, so with Sister Judy Johnson from Halifax, Canada. So please note and join us then. You can get information about all our programs on our website. That's vyasa.in and vancouver.brahmakumaris.ca. You can also find all the videos on our YouTube channels. So thank you very much, and over to you, Manish.
Yeah, thank you, Anu sister. So I hope we can spend a few minutes in meditation with Santosh Didi if she's around. So we'll play some soft music. And otherwise, Sister Claudia can take over and give some drishti to all the participants. Yeah, that's fine, beautiful. So we are having drishti from the Supreme Being direct. Thank you. So you can play some music, Anu sister. Yeah. I think Anu sister Santosh Didi is back, so we'll just focus on her. Yeah, thanks. So thank you so much, Santosh Didi, for your divine presence and sharings. Thank you. Shanti.